Well, dude, LeRoy, it's great to see you. You got the Leap Vodka right with you. I like it. I got to taste it still. What's
So I
so
don't
give
get
us
a
your sales pitch. Let's
shirt.
hear the sales pitch.
I don't get a shirt, and you haven't had my vodka yet. But we've been boys for 10 years. That makes sense. All right.
I know, I know. I owe you.
It's
I
all
owe you
good.
big time. I owe you
Well, the
big
good news
time.
that I love you, my brother. I'm glad to be on here, and I have been taking my time to get on with you. But a lot of this stuff has changed, though. You know
Yeah.
that. I mean, the cycle of what's news is every day. You know, every day. So I hope everybody has been kind of keeping up. If you're a Packer fan, I know you're way behind because every day is something. But if
Yeah.
just normal day, normal life, things change a lot. So I'm just glad we can get it done.
Well, I was just telling the crew here
That's the
on
sales
just
pitch for the vodka. Just be normal.
LeRoy. I mean, you need no introduction, but just as a human being, I don't think I've run across anybody just like as genuinely down to earth as you. Like 4-time All Pro, Super Bowl champ. I could call you any day, anytime, and you like just drop everything to bullshit and catch up. So it means a lot, and we love having you here. So, man, thanks so much for
Oh, it's
doing
my pleasure.
this. We got a lot of Packer fans in here. I don't know, man. I figure we can talk about you, your upbringing, your life, the team then, the team today, whatever these guys want to talk about. But what's life like for you these days? Newly married,
Well,
somewhat still, right? So they got
yeah,
that
it's
going on
always
too.
new until you get in trouble. Um, my wife is amazing. I think the thing about her, she's very low key, and she's not like, um, she just, it was really interesting. Real quick, a story how I met her. We both went through a divorce in like '05. We both went through a divorce, and but both were mine was it was a little different from like, well, I'm not a celebrity, but like famous people when they like, like Bill Gates, like he got billions of dollars and give his wife 200 billion. Now he's still rich, but we would just say amicably we split. We're still very good friends, and we had 3 kids together. They were girls, and when I met Genesis, she was a banker. Natalia, you'll like this story. She was a banker. So I go in there to cash a check like normal people, no big deal. And when I get there, it's like I kind of slid it over to her and I was talking to somebody. And I noticed I'm not getting my money. I'm not getting my money yet. So I'm like, what's going on? She said, I need 3 IDs. I said, wait a minute. Lambo Lee, like all decade team, like Reggie White, Brett Favre. She was like, that means nothing. She had no idea who I was. So I thought it was fake at first, right? So I said, well, either I'm gonna marry her or she's pulling my leg. So she really didn't know who I was.
That's
And
awesome.
we just kind of connected. And then once I went back, I didn't see her. The next time I went back, I sent my agent in there. I said, if you see this girl there, I mean, I want to, get to know her. So Eddie Erkmanis, that's my guy. He went in there and he said, LeRoy wants to meet you. And she was very nice. And I sent flowers. I was all gentleman stuff. And next thing you know, she said, I got some bad news. I said, uh-oh. It could have been like, I'm a Bears fan, but they're going through so much pain, I wouldn't have mattered. That's not bad news. Or I didn't know what she was going to say. She said, you know what? I have 2 little kids at home. I said, I got some worse news. I got 3 kids. So we kind of connected. And next thing you know, we've been together for, forever. But we got married in 2019. Now, Tyler, I like to do stuff that players won't do. We got married at Lambeau Field
Yeah.
because I want her to kind of capture who I was and things of that nature. And I know other players wouldn't do it because I still
Right.
tell players I got married and they don't believe me. But I got married there. And the last thing before we get into football, that I wanted normal people to come. So we had like, doctors, lawyers,
Yeah.
first responders, the real heroes, teachers, people like that were able to come. We had like 1,000 people. People pay for their own food. They're gonna have no money, but you're able to pay for your own food. And we donated money to charity, and it was amazing. And it was rough. But I think a lot of people, and I don't know about the fans and the friends who were on, but a lot of people got to know themselves in quarantine, and a lot of people broke up. I mean, me and my wife got closer
Yeah.
because she's a Hallmark person, and I like John Wick. So it was just but we get along because we stay out of each other's way, but it's fun. So it just you learn more about your relationship when you put in those kind of predicaments. But it was fun for me, and it's still fun. She's just everything.
I mean, just real quick, first thought that comes to mind is, being around players and, you know, personal life is personal life. You never really know. But I think that says so much about you to like fall in love with somebody who doesn't even know who you are. Like,
That's
there's a
it.
lot of former players, current players. They need to be with an A-list celebrity. They need their ego stroked. They need
Yeah.
their ass kissed. They need you to know I'm really good at what I do. Bow down to me 24/7. And you just don't give a shit about it. There's a real connection
Yeah.
there, which is I respect. It's awesome. I mean, everybody on here can probably relate to some degree. I know, like, I fell in love with my wife, Tinder date. We both swiped right, whatever. First date, it was like I knew I was gonna marry her because she didn't like football. She couldn't care less, really. But you get into other things. There's just like a realness
Yes.
there,
Yes.
that's
I
great.
remember when you first told me you were a dad. I was like, I never thought we'd had this conversation. No, because most time talking to Tom Silverstein or one of these guys, or Bob McGee that grew up with me, and they would see the kids every few years, and you would think, oh, that's how you're growing as a person.
Yeah.
But to me, it kind of, uh, and I know mental health is big, and I tell people that athletes go through mental health, but can you ever had like a big argument with your
Yeah.
significant other, a substance argument, y'all disagree, you just yelling, they saying all kind of mean stuff. Now go shoot two free throws, or go uh, do the Lambo leap, or go on the balancing beam, or go to the Olympics. Or most people can get a chance to just go in another room and calm down. But athletes, you got to do all of that. Now you got to go out and catch a pass, or intercept a pass, or throw a pass. And so I think sometimes fans don't get that these are human beings. And now you can probably get it because you've covered a lot of sports. But some guys thinking, you know what? Let me think about that for a minute. I can understand a guy like Aaron Rodgers that's going through some issues on and off the field that I can, okay, I get it. I can understand that Simone Biles is having some issues. You got the whole Larry Nasser thing, and you got all this going on. And now I got to put all that aside and perform. It's hard. So I'm more excited now that more athletes are talking about it. I've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
Tyler, I used to go to our sports psychologist after wins,
Wow.
not just losses. And she
Wow.
said, "You ain't here to see me again." I said, "Yes," because I'm trying to figure out how do I deal with success. How do you deal with that? And if you don't know how to deal with it, you can take it in a different lane. And sometimes you don't really want to do that. You just want to be a normal person. I work hard not to even be famous. I think it's lame. I think the thing about having power, you got to use it in the right way and try to be as normal as possible.
Well, man, hey, I'll leave it at this, and everybody, please just jump right in, ask LeRoy anything you want. But first thing that crossed my mind when you're talking about your mental health, I mean, everything you went through as a
Oh my
kid.
goodness.
I mean, in a wheelchair, thinking you might not walk again, the poverty. I think you told me how like one of your best friends was just like boom, shot dead right in front of you, basically. I mean, you saw a lot, you lived through a lot. I would imagine that as that background, that being your foundation as a human being, that doesn't just go away. It doesn't just disappear as you become an adult and a celebrity in pro football.
Yeah, it does. It really does, Tyler. Because I think my life is uh, I had to put the blinders on, but it's easy to say that, but how do you deal with it? My mom was my hero, and she raised 5 kids by herself. Mom and my dad got divorced, and she could tell us all these things. And my mom was like, she passed away like 4 years ago, and she was like this poet, and a nice person at the same time, but she always had a thought process to it. She used to always say, be very measured and just be a leader, not a follower. But if you're going to lead, you once had to be a good follower. So I said, Mom, what does that mean? She was like, well, you got to find out who to follow because there's a lot of kids in the projects where we're from getting in a lot of trouble because they're trying to be fit in. But to me, she said, the real heroes, they can't fly. You okay? And they don't have numbers or letters on their chest. And they're the teachers, the police officers, the firemen. Because I'm not running into a burning building, but he does, and he do it for like 65,000. She used to tell us this all the time. So when I told her I wanted to play in the NFL, she had this look about herself like, wait, I thought maybe you want to do something else. I said, no, I want to play in the NFL because I want to get you out of the inner city, out of the projects. I was like 8 years old. I got these braces on my legs. And if you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, I had the same braces. And she didn't tell me I couldn't do it. But every day you had to wake up poor, wake up wearing hand-me-downs. And I remember my grandmother told me, she said, why are you worrying about stuff you can't control? You don't got a job. You can't. I got my first ever new shirt. Do I pop the tag, which is music to kids' ears, from the Salvation Army, was standing in line for toys. But to me, toys wasn't, no, I wanted that new shirt. That wasn't my size. And then I remember the young lady saying, well, you can get like the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. Every kid wants that. I said, I don't even know who G.I. Joe is. And I don't want that. She said, what do you want? I said, I want that new shirt. Just a white plain shirt. She said, but you're like a small and it's a large. I will make it fit. And that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I just wanted, and then I would have this mind. I didn't have a jersey. I used that shirt. You get a marker, you write whoever number you want. And it would, you cross it out. This, you playing, tackle in the house with the Nerf balls with your brother. And my sister was like the referee. Like if they tackle me hard, she'd throw them out the game. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was she. So that's kind of my mentality growing up. How worse it was, and it was, in Jacksonville, Florida, Tyler, there is no air conditioning in our place, and it's like 95.
Jeez.
But you just sleep. You wake up and soaking wet, and you just go in the bathroom, dry off, and get ready. Take a shower, go to school. You live that every single day. And the older that I got, I knew what she meant by the power thing, but it didn't set in until high school. That's when it really said, oh, okay. Yeah, I got the God given ability to stay focused. Because again, in the story I told you, we're sitting on the bus stop, just me and my friend waiting on the bus. And we're just sitting there talking. I think we was talking about blow pops, to where we're like, how did they get the gum inside of the little lollipop thing? Just having a good time, what kids talk about. And here comes you can see it happen. You hear the shots, and then you see and you don't see anybody. You just hear it in the distant shots. And next thing you know, a car just appears, and they're running they're getting chased by the cops, and they were shooting, and we started running. And as while we were running, I noticed he wasn't behind me, and I didn't see him. And next thing you know, he was laying down on the bus stop. He got shot in the head, straight bullet. And you're thinking, man, I could have got shot too. You could be doing the right thing and could have got shot. And I said to myself, self, God watching you, because that could have been you. So it made me think that take advantage of what was about to happen. It's almost as if I knew how my story was going to end, and I'm watching a movie. I'm like watching a movie, and it was just interesting growing up in the inner city.
I can't imagine. I mean, that's unbelievable. Man. So we got Brandon and Kirk have their hands up here. So Brandon, let it rip.
LeRoy, how's it going, man? Thanks so much for doing this. One of my favorite players growing up, really ever. I think you should be in the Hall of Fame. We had Peter King on this, and I I explained your case for you to Peter King. So yeah, I'm sure my voice carries a lot of weight there, LeRoy. So
hey, that Leaf vodka carries more weight than anything.
I got the Leaf vodka, and then if you look behind me, your picture's on the wall. I'm afraid to drink it. I'm afraid to drink it.
I thought it was Nick Collins at first.
No, it's you, but I want to keep that vodka. I got to go buy another bottle that I can drink out of. I want to keep that one closed up. But again, man, thanks. I listen to you on 1250 every day. Thank you so much for doing this. I got to ask you though, and I know you've probably been asked 1,000 times already.
Oh, go ahead.
The Lambeau leap. When Reggie White handed you that ball, like before that happened, are you thinking, one day, man, I'm going to score a touchdown, I'm going to jump in the stands? Or was that just natural instinct to be like, I just scored a touchdown in Lambeau, 70,000 people going crazy, I'm going to jump in the stands? Was that thought of before?
Brandon, thank you for the question. People like you are the reason why I said LeRoy Butler, because I love you. No, I had no idea. And I'm going to tell you, Brandon, I'll be honest, it's something popped in my head. Mike Holmgren, okay? Mike Holmgren said, if a defensive player gets an interception and laterals it, I'm going to cut you. If you pick up a fumble, you just get on because you guys are not good with the ball, you're going to fumble. So just don't do that. So that's what I'm thinking. So by it being really cold that day, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be tough to hold on to any kind of ball or whatever. But I just remember when I ran over towards Reggie, I saw Tony Bennett, not the singer. Okay, not the singer. Only 2 people got that joke. Okay. Tony Bennett, first round pick.
Not the Hornets, Green Bay, Wisconsin guard either. There's a lot of
Tony
Bennett.
Go. Man, you smart. And Bryce Pop. I hope y'all know Bryce Pop. They're running towards Reggie, but they fall. If you see it on YouTube, they just fall because the field is frozen. They just fall. And I'm like, okay, I called the fumble. I'm looking for the ball. I said, Reggie has it. So I'm running over towards Reggie and I don't fall. Well, again, God is good. So I said to myself, he's been allowed of this ball because I know coach told him not to do it. So spontaneously, I get it. And when I get it, Brandon, when I get the ball, I'm thinking to myself, what are you going to do? So I'm running. I said, I just want to jump. And the fans, they had no idea what was going on. And I remember throwing the ball and jumping up there. And I told a story that the guy who was coming over, he had a beer in his hand. He wasted all over me. And if you see it, I go down looking for the ball, and the security guy's trying to grab the ball, and I get it from him. You'll see Favre run out there with this Superman cape on. And we did this little weird thing. Then Doug Evans come. Yep. And Doug said, oh, you smell like beer. I said, you got to waste some frozen beer. I was flushy on me. And I remember going to the bench, and I'm on the bench, and I'm excited. I'm a defensive back player. I don't score all the time. And the Holmgren came over to me. Never do that again. But you're going to get fined. I said, what do you mean? You're going to get fined. I say, why? So we thought it was cool. So long story short, so every Tuesday they fine you. They'll put it in your locker like a big envelope. They'll just put it on your seat because Tuesdays are our day off, and we go there to work out. So I looked over there, nothing, no envelope. The following week, I said they probably just forgot, nothing. And then Lee Rimmel, he's Lee Rimmel.
Oh, yeah.
Legendary. Yep.
He was like, I think you got away. So, and the reason why I like that, Brandon, the reason why I like that celebration, 2 things. The fans. I love the fans more than anything. I mean, other than my wife, kids, Jesus, and all that, I love the fans. I do, because if it wasn't for the fans, there was no leap. You can't do it. Mm-hmm. There's not a celebration with your teammates you're doing, which is fun, but it's with the fans that own the team. This is a perfect story. I mean, the fans were great. And then the other one is Robert Brooks. Robert Brooks needs a Nobel Peace Prize. Not only is he an offensive guy who scores all the time, but he's the one that thought about it. That was cool. He write a song about it. He wrote Jump in the Stands.
Yep.
It blew up. It I mean, it was.
It's a catchy song. It's pretty good.
It is.
Yeah,
And
I like it.
I'll give you a nugget. I was supposed to be in the video with Gilbert Brown in the convertible, but I was in Milwaukee getting a haircut.
I was gonna say, do you get royalties or anything? Because everybody
Nah.
jumps in the stands now. You should get some kind of commission, or I don't know.
You know me, Tyler. It's not about me. I just like that the fans get a chance to do it. But my guy Charlie Barron's a good friend of mine. He's a comedian, and this is a nugget, by the way. I think August the 12th, I'm gonna do a video with him about the leap, because he interviewed me and we were showing other players doing it wrong, which is funny. We're gonna do one, and because they didn't do the leap last year because of COVID. So I'm gonna talk him through how you do it properly. Because if you're Stokes and you pick up a pick six, if you don't do it, they're gonna boo you. So I'm gonna talk to them about if they're able to do it. This is the proper way you do it, so it'll be funny. But thanks for the question.
That's awesome. Well, and we're gonna go to Kirk here. I mean, people don't understand how hard it's pretty high. I remember taking my family on a Lambeau Field tour. Yeah, when I was working out there, they all came out to visit, and my brother-in-law, who listens to these, Clint, he's the man. He's like, I got one shot at doing a Lambeau leap, and he did it. They tell you on the tour like 10 times, don't do the leap. Like, don't do it. He's like, oh, screw it. I give him credit. I'm gonna do it, and he did it, and he said, like, that's pretty high. It's pretty high up there. So
when I did it, I think the wall may have been 6'1", maybe 6'2". I think it's like 6'4".
Yeah.
So you got to get up there, but the fans will help you. If you jump halfway, they'll just pull you up, and you sit up there like, hey, this is it.
That's right. They give you a little boost. So
yeah, you need the fans. You need them.
All right, let's hear it, Kirk. What do you got, man?
Hey, LeRoy. You were one of my heroes growing up. I always appreciated the way you try and teach, and also your humanity and social conscience. I think especially related to like the Black Lives Matter. Recently, I appreciated some of your statements on it. I got a number of questions. Number one is COVID vaccine hesitancy among players. How likely is that to disrupt like locker room coherence? So obviously that's relevant out in Buffalo, but here in Minnesota. I believe a number of the Packers have personal experience, at least like Devin Funchess. I believe a number of his family members had adverse outcomes because of COVID. And when it's potentially affecting your paycheck, if like games have to get canceled, is it the sort of thing where if you have a tight locker room already, it's going to be fine? Or is this something that you think is going to potentially cause issues within locker rooms?
Thanks for the question. I think a couple things. Once the FDA approves it, you'll see more guys getting it. That's just, so that's what, because I asked players and they said, well, it hasn't been approved, blah, blah. And I said, okay, I get that, but the question is so relevant because you're talking about a locker room. We have different rules than
I guess outside. My question, why are people refusing it? But my sense, locker rooms are so tight. You guys are, being a professional athlete, a very different relationship than people outside. And this is.
No, I get it. I think, I don't really know. Each guy may be different, but the guys that I talk to say once the FDA approves it, I say, I got it because I want to save my life. And I like being in the community. I like being out with people. So I couldn't wait to get it. Now, guys don't pressure each other. There's a few things going in the locker room that, you could be gay, straight, trans. We don't care. But, when you think about a private company, they have their rules. And within their rules, you got to kind of navigate, because the guys did play last year without the vaccine. That's also what guys are saying. Wait, listen, last year I played, I followed all the rules, I got tested, I wore a mask. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is now that if you're not vaccinated, here are the rules. You can't, these companies can do whatever they want until, you decide not to work for them anymore. The rules are the rules. So they don't specifically say which guys hasn't gotten vaccinated. They say maybe 11 guys. If you look at a team like Minnesota, their coach, he's had it up to here. Because I know what he's thinking. I'm gonna be in the Super Bowl, and one of the guys not vaccinated may be around one of my starters. Now they can't play. Or it may be the kicker, and you only got two kickers. If both kickers are get COVID, now you got to go for two. It's a game changer. So they're trying to work it out now. But I think as soon as the FDA approves it, I think you'll get as close to 100% as possible. But guys don't pressure guys. They're not doing that. But it may be some guys who doing it as a badge of honor. I'm just not going to do it because I'd like to be different. You may have one or two guys like that. They get real cavalier about it. And then you may have, I hate to say it, you're going to have some conspiracy theories in there. Maybe like less than 1% of guys saying you can be magnetic and you can, the government's tracking you. I said, they already track you with your cell phone. They want to
they're doing that anyways. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they do it anyway. So that's when the conversations open up with all the, but we have doctors who you meet with all the time. Talk to your doctor and see what he said. They got some of the best doctors in the NFL. They just don't want to lose games. They lost fans last year, and they don't want to lose more fans. But in the locker room, I think they'll get it all worked out, and everybody will be 100% vaccinated by the season starts. Because I think the FDA, I don't know when they'll do it, but once they approve it, guys, they're going to do it, and everything will be fine.
My next question is on your relationship with the team physicians, and maybe not Pat McKenzie specifically, but I was always fascinated. I think Jermichael Finley had a bad MRSA or Staph aureus infection, and I think I remember reading that he'd had his knee tapped like at home. So basically, I think McKenzie went to his home and tapped it there. But also like the Chargers quarterback, who everybody kind of says, oh, he lost his starting job because he got a pneumothorax.
I remember that. Tyrod Taylor. Yeah.
And then, it seems like a lot of guys like to go to James Andrews or something like that. So I'm just fascinated in what's the general relationship like between football players and a team physician, how much you trust them versus you want to go see somebody else for second opinion.
Well, you can always go get a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, 11th opinion, and they'll pay for it. They all do that. You don't have to
pay for it if you go somewhere else.
Oh yeah, they'll pay for it. Oh yeah, you can go. I remember I went to Philadelphia, me and Ron Wolf, to see a shoulder specialist. And we went out there, saw the guy, did all the workups, and it was fine, no big deal. You can go wherever you want. It's America. But Dr. McKenzie and Dr. Gray used to get pediatrics in his office for my kids. Dr. McKenzie, he can close his eyes and do a ACL surgery. I've been around these guys. They're all trustworthy because they won't get pressured by the coach to make you play because it's their job to make sure you're healthy. Because the coach will say, hey, man, can he play? Hey, listen, based on science and medical, he can't play. And then ultimately it comes to how you feel. But it's a lot of trust with the doctors. It's a lot closer. It's almost just as close as you and your wife because he's the one that's going to help you and give you the information. But second, I've seen guys every Monday fly out somewhere to get your knee looked at. Matter of fact, they'll suggest it. Yeah, go have somebody else look at it and we'll compare notes. And then wherever you feel comfortable. And then after that, the biggest job is the physical therapy. If you want to go back home and do your physical therapy, like most guys in the off season like to use their people, they'll pay for it. Yeah, whatever. But if you want to privately do it and you don't want nobody in your business, if you want to pay for it, you can do that too. So it's a very privileged life when you're in the NFL as far as injuries. They have toe specialists. All the guy does is look at toes. Where do you find these people? I thought a foot doctor would just do. No, this guy only looks at turf toe. And we can call him up and make sure you're healthy. And not only gray area, well, there's no gray area. The only area that needed to be upgraded was the neurologist because of the concussion. And I still believe that if Will Smith hadn't done that movie about that doctor, the concussion thing wouldn't be worked out because it's a lot of political stuff. And then now you see the concussion payouts, they weren't even, it was like race norming, like wouldn't even give, like the African American guys wouldn't even, like they couldn't get their money. I mean, and that's wrong. And they admitted it. It's everywhere. That's the kind of stuff makes you say, wait a minute now, why is that so? Why does it matter what color you are if you're dealing with dementia, early signs of that, from concussions? I mean, we should all be on the same page to make sure a guy gets the help that he needs. So hopefully, things are starting to turn around. But as far as the doctors, 100% trust.
You know what though? Like, just to chime in quick, like when that thing with Tyrod Taylor went down, I was texting with we'll just call him a longtime veteran. He was on one of these happy hours, and he got right back to me. He said, "Man, this shit happens way more than people realize. There's some team doctors that are just old school, stuck in their ways. They're not really up on the science and up on new ways of doing procedures and whatnot." And he said, like, what happened with Tyrod Taylor? That's happening around the league. So thanks for bringing that back up. I got to do a story on it. I got to talk to some guys around the league, but that's, yeah, it's good to know that they can, players can look outside of the team if
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They can, and that's good. I mean, because it's a lot of sometimes doctors in your family.
Yeah.
I mean, but they just want to make sure wherever they're going, the guy is certified, because if he give you the wrong information and you get hurt, that's on you.
Right.
So let's work together. So especially me, I mean, I've never had an issue, man. It's because it is a big decision when because my shoulder was broken 3 places.
Mm-hmm.
Guys think you still can play. No, you can't play. I didn't need a second opinion. I saw the film for myself and I could feel it. I don't want to get hit in that spot again. But these Doc McKenzie and Dr. Gray, and I don't discount those other guys that say it happens, but the doctors, they got to stand up for science and they got to stand up for the medical community. You can't have a coach say, no, he's playing when the guy obviously have something wrong. That's why sometimes when you hear about an injury, mostly for people who bet, you're thinking, well, and then sometimes you get the narrative, fans say, oh, he's soft. And then players say there's a difference between being injured and hurt. It is a big difference. Hurt, you got a paper cut. Okay. Injured, hey man, I got damage to my knee. I need a knee replacement when I'm 50. So I need to, sit out. Because I know most people are thinking now, when is David Bakhtiari going to play? I'm no hurry to see him. I want to see him when he feel like he's 100%. But I know most people, hey man, I want him to play so my team can win. And that's when you're thinking, do you really care about the guy or do you care about the number?
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
But I know we got Sam, Derek, we got a bunch of people on here if anybody wants to chime in.
I got one for you, LeRoy. What can you say about you playing against Randy Moss in like the early 2000s, late 90s?
Well, thanks a lot, Derek, for ruining the happy hour. You know what? I wrote something. Man, you're smart. I wrote something that's a part of something I'm working on the receivers. The best receiver, okay? The best receiver is the GOAT, is Jerry Rice. There's no argument. He's just the best, okay? This just me telling my story. As a defensive back that plays safety and corner. Put him to the side. The best hands like that don't need gloves. Just you could put grease on his hands, he still won't drop it. Is Chris Carter. Chris Carter to me I just never seen him drop a pass. If I did, I think it'd be fake news. The guy's amazing. And to me, the most savvy guy was Herman Moore. I mean, the guy's 6'4", and he gets into a crowd, and different from Calvin Johnson, different. Herman Moore to me was special. Now let's get to Moss. Moss could make an EKG machine explode if you put it on every defensive back's heart. He was the most feared receiver in NFL history ever. We double covered him. People said, "Why don't you double cover?" We tried that. Still catch it. The guy is the most feared wide receiver ever to play the game, in my opinion. Just throw it up. I mean, he still catch it. So Moss is truly amazing. Because we have what we call a number tree, like a 2 is a slant, 5 is like a curler out or in route. Is a post is an 8, 9 is a go. And when he had Culpepper, when he had Cunningham was the slingshot, it didn't matter who he played with. Randy Moss was truly amazing. And I'm gonna tell you the last thing about Randy Moss. That was the reason why he made my list. He was a very underrated blocker. He had this thing. He probably would like me telling y'all this, but when you engage him, he would come underneath and get you by both of your elbows. If you ever do that, you can control a person. You can just, it's almost like driving a car. You can just, he didn't come and try to cut you or try to run. He just come underneath, grab your 2 elbows and just kind of control you and get out of the way. Now, next thing you know, Robert Smith is gone for like 75. The guy was amazing. So these stories will never get told until I write that, but thanks to Derek, those are the stories you're going to read. They said, this was LeRoy Butler things that ran him out. This guy, man, my heart, I'm telling you, my heart used to be beating. You know how people talking about they weren't scared? BS. If you play number 84 in purple, you know how you do your heart rate and all that rap, it'll explode. Because you're thinking, I'm going to be on Sports Center. He's going to jump up over 4 guys and score. And now the mooning thing, hey, he was emotional, okay? Let it go. So Moss was the man.
I mean, Ron Wolf drafted Antoine Edwards, Fred Vincent, Mike McKenna, like 3 corners in a row after that rookie season when he ended your home game winning streak. Like, you don't really see that. Like, one player does something extraordinary. The next draft, that team that got burnt drafts 3 players at that position to stop him. We'll probably never see that again.
Never. I mean, he's the most feared guy. I mean, there's not other than Barry Sanders, a guy you said, hey man, just like KD was shooting, Kevin Durant shooting, he's gonna score 40. I mean, you can put all the guys on. The guy's good. Sometimes the guy's good. The guy's parent did a good job. Shout out to his parents, okay? You never see another Randy Moss, a guy that tall. And you know what? The thing that bothers me, Derek, he went to Florida State for a little while and ended up at Marshall. Like, why didn't we keep him at Florida State? But that's for another show.
Awesome. I see Brandon's got his hand up too, and just fire away, everybody here.
I always got my hand up when we got former Packer players here. LeRoy, let's be real. We were talking to Frank Winters. I don't know, that was like a month or so ago, about that Super Bowl winning team in '96, and then obviously in '97 as well. You had a lot of interesting characters on that team. Obviously, Brett Favre was a little bit of a wild child. You had Wayne Simmons, Sean Jones, Reggie White. What were the dynamics of that locker room? I don't want you to speak on personal, people or, personal stories, but like, what were some of the dynamics of that locker room? You had, Mike Holmgren, Fritz Sherman. You had pretty good leadership in that locker room. It was a ton of really good players.
A lot of arrogance, a lot of swagger, and a lot of everything was perfect. We love Andre Rison. I don't think people know how much we love him. I used to just love seeing him every day. And Desmond Howard we love Desmond Howard, LOVE, not LUV.
Not UV. Yep.
No, UV is girlfriend, LOVE is wife. Because people kept telling us these narratives. Oh, he can't play receiver. He's not a return guy. He's too little. I'm like, okay, fine. Let me have it. We were missing that, a return game. Andre Rison, a smart guy, to know he's lined up opposite of the original receiver in the Super Bowl, touchdown. Bruce Wilkinson. People don't know Bruce Wilkinson. I mean, Ron Cox, the middle linebacker in the Super Bowl. I mean, Wayne Simmons, I remember going over to Wayne and said, Wayne, I got a problem. Now, I don't necessarily like covering big tight ends, but if you can help me by destroying him at the line of scrimmage, it would make my job easier. He did that to like Brent Jones. We played San Francisco, and he did it numerous of times. He would grab the tight end because he was just. In other words, what I'm saying, Brandon, everybody had a role and they was okay with it. We were fine. I think Brett was embarrassed that he was MVP because he's not trying to be all me. No, he's not trying to do that. I love playing with my guys. I mean, the guy never even locked his truck. I remember I had to move some stuff. I said, I need to, get your truck to move some stuff, to another house. He said, wait a minute, you're not asking me for help, are you? I said, no. I just need a truck. He said, take it. And guys don't do that. Next day, he let a rookie take it. So it ain't me, all pro. No, it's anybody, you my brother. Reggie White, I remember he got his second sack. I looked at him, I said, big dog, you're taking over, son. LeRoy, I'm tired. I said, you can need another one, man. We got to come on, Super Bowl. I got you. And he just took over the game. And that team is 25-year anniversary this year.
Mm-hmm. I'll be at that game, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I just will never forget that locker room. It was the perfect locker room. I mean, it was just, we had a little committee. Mike Pryor used to always say, let's get there early. I said, well, I want to be early. Well, we get there early. They have food in the meeting room with Coach Hunger. I said, nice. We get there, and the committee, Frank Winters, he was like the smart guy. He would just make sure everybody's on the same page, lower the temperature. We used to it was just a special team. It really was. And I remember seeing a sign. It said 30 years of misery has ended. We're going to the Super Bowl. And you saw grown men crying. And I remember after the Super Bowl, we had the purple hats. I don't know if anybody else think that one. But it was purple. No one wanted it because it was purple. And then me and Eugene started putting them on. And then people started ordering them because it was in New Orleans. It was like, that's what it made it. It was fitting. But we were number one offense, defense, special teams. And all the way down to the guy in the locker room, the manager's office, the secretaries. It was big. It was big because everybody kind of knew. Because we lost to the Cowboys in 2000. In 1995. And the next year, we're on the plane. When the pilot comes on and says, you got to stay in your seat until you get up to 10,000. Holmgren gets up when we're going up and said, next year, we're going to win it. I'm saying, next year, we're going to win it. And we felt it. We got off the plane after losing to Dallas in the championship game. Everybody came back. That team, if you look at that roster, you can probably name 25, 30 guys, but the guys you can't name, those are the reason why we won, because our special team was amazing. So yeah, even thinking back, that feels like that all the stories. And one of them real quick was Ron Wolf heard that the head coach and the ownership of the Patriots are going to move their team so they don't be distracted. Bill Parcells, you're going to move the team. And I was like, I'm not moving the team. That costs too much. I was like, why are we moving? Because they didn't want us to be distracted by our fans. I said, listen, guys, our fans will find us. They don't. So we stayed where we were, and we just did what we do.
You hit up Bourbon Street pretty hard then that week is what you're telling us.
You know what? Guys, they were never told not to go.
Yeah.
So the fans, that's where the fans were, and guys would go down there and say hi to the fans, and it was great. You know, it was just great. The fans were just great, man. They would really protect you. You didn't need security. Nah, you didn't need security.
Oh man, Derek, I see your hand up over there, man.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. What can you say about like the party after you guys won the Super Bowl?
Oh,
What's some cool behind the scenes stories you got there?
well, we had two parties. One was for our families, and one was for the fans. And we were trying to throw the fans off where we were going to be. Just like I said, you can't fool them. So we had some fake security guys with some Packer shirts, but they were really fans. It was like go down to the other, like down the street to another hotel and just walk around like you security. The fans figured out it was fake. They came down there where we were, because I think I heard a story. A couple fans left in the fourth quarter when it was winding down just to get so they could see the bus leave, and they followed the bus. I never thought about it. It was brilliant. And when we got back to the hotel, there was thousands of people just everywhere. You know, most guys want to eat, and you know, and then I noticed that most guys, because we didn't have like NFL don't let you do like champagne, like doing all that. And guys are like, man, we didn't even celebrate like what, you know, this, and this. And guys, we had a food fight. And I felt bad for where we had to clean all that up, but it was fun because we couldn't do like again the champagne, so we did it with food. We just like grabbing stuff, throwing it at each other. It was only like 4 or 5 of us. Then people were like looking at us like, "What is wrong with these guys?" Well, this is what happened when you win a championship after 30 years. You throw food, and it was a lot of fun. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
I got to ask you about today, though, LeRoy. I mean, you're really plugged in. Obviously, you're there in Milwaukee, breaking the team down every day. We've talked on your show. Like, I was
Oh yeah,
pretty
yeah.
certain. Like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is dug in. He's
What did
not,
I tell you? What did I tell you?
I don't know if you should be spiking the football. I mean, you listen to his press conference, right? Like, he's still pretty pissed off. There's still some bad blood there. It's
Oh,
not like
stop.
nothing happened. It's
Ah,
not like nothing
stop.
happened.
There's no bad blood. Everything is
Oh,
fine.
get out of here! Come on.
No, now I will say it was savage. Where else can you tell your employer that you don't agree with them on a lot of issues and still keep your job? I
When
mean,
he's wrong on a lot of those players, he's
well, he just give,
wrong.
but he's just giving his opinion. I didn't have a problem with that. But this is how I try to tell people, and that's what Tom Superstar said. Some of those
Right.
players,
He had a great story on it.
yeah, you would have, you know, and that's fair. But I think what he's saying, if you were Jake Kumaro, or if, and this is part of Gary Ellis and my Coles, he can't wrap his head around it. So I'm in the minority when I say this. But Aaron is thinking, if you're Jordy Nelson and you're going to make $11 million and they offer you the minimum, allegedly, we don't know the numbers, we're just guessing, and you feel disrespected in any kind of way, who do you go to? Now, Sparky, the other Coles, say, "Hey man, you suck it up. People get fired. Move on. Fine, that's fine. I get the tough guy line. I get that. But if you're a guy that really want to call a team out but can't and don't have a platform, you applauded that. You did, because he's the only guy that can do it. And nothing will happen. Jordy ain't coming. Nothing. Fine. But at least the part about getting therapy, I got a chance to get it off my chest, although it was Aaron's chest. So the Randall Cobb movie was savagery. Okay, go get my best friend. Ted Thompson, bless him, RIP, would probably not have done that.
No.
And these are all Ted guys. Now, these are Gutekunst. They got nothing to do with none of these guys. I mean, well, maybe Kumaro. And, you know, Ted brought these guys in, and then, you know, he has to make the tough decision. But I just want people to understand that Aaron was acting as if he was HR for players that don't have a voice, that he even in his opinion said Julius Peppers, Hall of Famer, I think. Julius Pepper don't want to bash the organization. But he also, hey man, I probably would have took a little less. If you're Clay Matthews, you're thinking, okay, you went with Kamal Martin and Barnes. I think I'm better than that. I don't even get an opportunity. Who do you tell? Do you? Because if you said on your social media, you look like you're a little whiny. You got. They never brought you back. Let it go. I would agree with you. Some of those players, fine, but for some of the players that may have feel like they were wrong, this is just their opinion. I don't make it right. This is their opinion. He was the guy for that.
Mhm.
And now, after you've done that, I'm fine now. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here, LeRoy.
No, keep
Not a
it
thing.
moving. Hey, just like the police said in the accident, hey, keep it moving. Because Aaron won by getting Randall Cobb, but the team won too. And I'll tell you how, Tyler. All Matt LaFleur said is just get him in the building. So the head coach won. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care about the contract. I don't care about the numbers. I get him in the building. But now Gouda comes and saying, wait a minute, I'm giving up a 6th-round pick for a guy who's hurt. Now we all love Randall Cobb. I mean, we love him. But do we need him? No, we're doing it for the quarterback. So we've been telling y'all all off season we'll work with him, and this proves that. So it was an amicable get back together. It was a separation, not a divorce. It's a difference. Because you can separate and get back together. People thought it was going to
Those
be.
problems don't go away though. They don't go away. Like there's still an issue there.
They don't go away. You may be right about that, but they're not here today. And that's what therapists will tell you, live day by day.
So it's worth it. Like, and I'd love to hear what the fans think on this too in here.
Mhm.
Is it really worth like one more season? Right. Jay Glazer had the report. I've heard similar things too. That
I heard it. Yeah.
like he'll have the freedom to seek his trade to get the hell out next year if he wants. Is it worth one more last dance ish run at a Super Bowl? Would you rather have that? Or I mean, Trey Lance fetched San Francisco 3 firsts and a third. Like, what could have Aaron? I mean, this obviously went down February, March. They probably knew how pissed off he was then. You could have done something before that draft. Wouldn't you rather like just take everything you can then versus one season with a 38-year-old who wants nothing to do with you?
Oh no, I'll take him all day long for 1 year because that gives me in a Super Bowl. A chance at it.
A chance.
Chance.
That
But
NFC
Tom Brady's
Championship
still the
game has
GOAT.
been a bugaboo for Aaron Rodgers.
But I need to do it one more time.
Okay.
Possible. Because I'm thinking like this. If you're a plumber and you see a leak, you don't change the whole sink, just change the area where it's leaking. With Jordan Love, I probably would have tear out the whole wall and the PVC, all that. I got to tear it all out. And maybe, I know it's 17 games, maybe you win 6 or 7. People would have been like, well, why didn't you keep Aaron? Because another team got to give him a 2-year deal for $100 million guaranteed. And I think that team is the Washington football team because their owner wants to win. The coach wants to win. They got a great young nucleus. They just need a quarterback. So they got to go through this year and next year say we're going to get Aaron a 2-year, $100 million deal, the highest pay for the next 2 years, and we want to win a Super Bowl. Because the Denver thing, they're not going to give all that up just for 1 or 2 seasons. But the Washington football team, to do this to Jerry Jones, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. That's the one guy that's been keeping you on the sideline. Him and Randall Cobb, by the way. So you don't. So I think play this year out. Hopefully beat Tom Brady, go to the Super Bowl, and then there'll be an amicable split. But worst case, Jordan Love get 1 more year of seasoning.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the worst case. Because Jordan Love, to his defense, who I like a lot, he's not ready because he's not COVID, couldn't do preseason. This year, they took away a game. They got family night tomorrow, so you'll get a chance to see him. He'll be ready. Aaron had to wait 3 years. So the longer, the better. But, hey, I ain't got no glasses. I'll put my glasses on and say, hey, man, we done with it. We done.
Hey, well, I haven't been through divorce. We came full circle on, divorce, remarry, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, you know what
I
you're
like
talking
those.
about.
My mom would use those analogies. It kind of brings people in the conversation to say LeRoy Butler's delusional. You lost your damn mind. It is not, yeah, but maybe I am. But you just wanted him in the building
Yeah.
because people, and something he said real quick that made me knew he was coming back. He said the people I'm around thinks that I should have control. Like, so the A-listers, you're talking about the Brady's and all these guys, LeBron and all these guys. Those guys, they are, they think, and he's saying, hey, listen, if we're a partnership, truly a partnership. I, I'm not trying to do the draft, put in 19-hour days, no, but for just a guy from 28 to 32. Do I like the guy? Yeah, I love to throw to him, but whatever. Because there was all this narrative that he never really helped the team, go get players. And that's not true. He said, I always call players, they just wouldn't listen to me. So hopefully they listen.
Your guy Brett Favre said he would have been told by Ron Wolf, get the hell out of here. Like, what are you doing in here? Like, I mean, maybe it's different times, different era. I get that.
No,
Times
Ted probably
change,
would have
but
Ted probably would have said that too. Because Ted said, I'm in charge of everything. You just go play.
yeah.
So but it's different now. Gutekunst has to go to Murphy.
Right, that's true.
Yeah,
And hey, Michael Jordan's been a
coach.
great GM for the Charlotte Hornets. Great draft picks.
Hey, sometimes
Actually-
we should let the experts do that. Just like in Dallas, Jerry Jones, he's kind of the GM. Instead of letting Mike McCarthy do his own press conference, he's sitting there next to him.
Yeah. Well,
Some guys like that. Some guys like, no, I want to be out there. We'll never know how good Matt LaFleur is, Tyler, until Aaron's career is gone and he can coach Jordan Love the way he wants.
so true. That's so true.
That's the way it goes, though.
Brandon, bring us home, man. I see that hand up.
I'm always, it's always.
I think that thing is frozen.
Real quick, LeRoy, talking on the air.
Why don't I just give you my number, Brandon? You can just call.
Well, I would love that. I think I know. I think from where you live, because we've talked before on the radio. You're not too far from where I live right now, but
yeah, I like your man, Kale. I need to break in there and get some of that stuff.
I need you to come and check it. I would love to have you over, LeRoy. Anytime, you are welcome.
Now,
I'll make sure.
Do you value some of these things? Do you get insurance for that? I always want to ask people that for flooding.
Oh, these are under insurance. Everything down here is, yeah.
Anybody out there, when you get this stuff, you pay money for it, please go and get insurance on it for something happens.
I just don't have a 36 jersey on the wall, so I'm working on trying to get that. I do want to ask you real quick. And again, thank you so much for answering my questions. With the dynamics of Aaron Rodgers, how does that look in a locker room? Guys all off season, and maybe some of them have spoken to him and have expressed, his, being upset at certain things. He comes back, and then the first thing he does is he wants Randall Cobb. How does that, in your opinion, you've been in those locker rooms before, you've been in those situations. How are the receivers looking around that room? How is that locker room, energy, the vibe? How do the players you think are taking that?
The locker room is very close. Mercedes Lewis, Zadarius Smith, it's very stable. And they love Aaron Rodgers and he loves his teammates. The grown men, like I said, 28 to 33, hey man, handle your business. You're good. Like Devontae Adams, he's trying to get a contract for $28 million. He can't just get all radical and say no, he get it. The younger guys are like, we're okay with quarterbacks doing this stuff. So, hey, it don't bother me. If you look around the league, just like the kid from Buffalo getting $253 million or whatever, we're okay with paying quarterbacks more than they want. We're okay with quarterbacks doing it. So, I don't care. As long as I'm going to make a lot of money if he's the quarterback and we can win a Super Bowl. That's how guys look at it. It's just like if you go to your family reunion, you may not like everybody on that shirt, but they're still your family. You know what I'm saying? When you're at work, you may not like the next guy in the next cubicle. I would say 51% of America probably don't like their boss. Probably don't even talk to him. That's why when people asked him his relationship with Gutekunst, hey, it's professional. I don't go out with my boss. I don't go play handball with my supervisor, but I still got to work. That's how he says, a professional. I didn't expect for them to like jump on each other, just go play basketball and go eat with their wives. No, it's professional. So when you're in that locker room, it is a place where you don't let personal stuff get involved. Uh, you don't politics, religion. Um, you just don't. I mean, the young man and with the Raiders, he came out and he has the #1 jersey.
Mhm.
We love our teammates. I mean, we don't judge each other. I mean, who you sleep with when I'm at, that's your business. I don't even care. I love you. Because if you got that jersey on, I want to win a Super Bowl. Now, when guys outside the locker room on their social media, it may be different. But inside that locker room, a place only a few people can go, it's all positive. Because if it's all broke up, you'll know about it. You'll start to hear about it.
Mhm.
But this locker room, when Aaron got back, hey, what's up? 12. You don't have a name when you're the man. 3-6, what's up, boss? Hey, cuz I'm good. How was your off season? I'll tell you later. But we don't call each other Brett Favre in the locker room. We call you by your number. 12, we're glad to have you, man. I know it looked shaky. Now they're gonna joke on him now. And you gotta accept it. Because if it was me, Tyler, if it was me, and I was doing a joke on him when he got there, I'd have had a Denver jersey laying there. I'd have a Washington football team jersey. I'd have a Jets because Favre went there. I'd have a Minnesota jersey, but I'd fold it up. I'd have a Detroit jersey. Hey, man, which one you want? Because you act like you don't want to be with us. And we laugh about it. It'd be funny. And it wouldn't even get out. Well, we didn't have social media in the 90s, but they're going to joke on him. But that's the love. So, and you'll tell by because they got a hard schedule. You'll start to see every time they lose, Aaron's leaving. Every time they win, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Guys can handle that. That's the mental health of it, to know that, it ain't going to be all peachy king. As long as I used to say that to myself, as long as Brett Favre was getting dressed, I knew I had a chance to win. That takes over everything in my mind. Everything. Because if I don't do that, we're going to lose. So it worked.
Amazing. I do see Kirk's got his hand up. If you got time for one more, LeRoy.
I just wanted to know generally, what do you think the stereotype the relationships like between GMs and star players? Growing up, I always
Did you
thought,
move your background?
no, I rotated. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
I always felt like you and Favre had a great relationship with Ron Wolf, but then like when Josh Sitton was cut, I guess the way I heard the rumors was that Elliott Wolf had been trying to trade him, and then when because I think somebody on the Patriots had gotten traded the last second before the year before that, and then when that fell through, then it was sort of like, well, we got to cut him now because the relationship's been permanently
So you're saying what's the relationship with GMs? What do you mean?
Yeah, star players and GMs, generally speaking, also.
Well, it depends on who you are. Like I only talked to Ron Wolf maybe twice on the field. I mean, he wouldn't bother players on the practice field, and his door was open if you had an issue. But generally, if they're gonna bring you back or not, because they kind of let your agent know what the direction of it is, and it's just the business part of it. I mean, it happens. The G never changes. Players do, and it ain't personal. And all the time. I mean, that G will never change. It's been there for 101 years. But players, they change all the time. And that's the best way I can see it. Because guys don't, again, some guys probably applauded, Aaron to get his best friend back, But, Brady's been doing it all season, but Brady's an outlier, you don't see it, But the relationship in 1265 is now that's without the coaches, GMs. As long as the players are fine, because when you're packing, I've seen guys pack up their locker, when they got traded or cut. You know, again, if you're 28 to 32, hey man, it's part of the business. But if you're a younger guy, it can be devastating. One of my favorite players, Willie Adonis for the Brewers. He, young guy, he's playing, I think, shortstop. They got a bunch of shortstop Tampa Bay Rays. And he gets a phone call. You going to Milwaukee. He was emotional. Like, oh man, I think he even said he cried. You don't expect that when you're young. Like when you're an older guy, hey man, I know at any time somebody gonna say, man, I need the playbook. And you just keep it moving for the most part. And you're gonna feel like you was disrespected sometimes. Who do you go to? I mean, what do you say? They don't have HR when you're leaving, So Aaron was that guy for those guys that he listed. He was the guy. And I think the message was powerful because it was very powerful because you saw Randall Cobb come in. So, but ultimately, if you have an owner, it's different than you have like a president, which the Packers are in a unique spot. But who do you go to if you have an issue? And normally it would be your position coach, and he go take it up the chain, and they deal with it. So, but I think, hey, listen, Gutekunst, he's just there to win. That's all I want to do is win.
Yeah, he's gonna stand there and just be like, "All right, I'll be everybody's punching bag, whatever."
Yeah,
like,
fine.
I feel bad for him. They've gone 13-3 the last 2 years.
Right, it's fine. I'm all right with it. Some guys are getting, kind of. I hate to say the word, like a pissing match with your star, and it hurts you and the team. So if you want to say he gave in, fine. As long as I get him in the building. And for 2021 season, which we're gonna have 100% fans, we can win ball games and beat Tom Brady. That's what they should be mad at. Beat Tom Brady. That's the hashtag. Beat Tom Brady.
Awesome. Sam, I do see you over there.
Yeah. Before I ask my question, LeRoy, the point you brought up about the Washington football team, I hadn't thought about that. It'd be some fun storylines playing Mike McCarthy twice a year.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, I love hearing some of your stories from the, Brett Favre days, hearing your insights on the current Packers team. Have you ever thought about like doing some color commentary on a game or something like that?
Well, you know what? Now that you bring that up, me and Charlie Barron, that's my guy, we have a video that where first we watched Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart do the Olympics, which was hilarious. So we're gonna do that with sports we have nothing to do with, like rowing, wall climbing, and then of course we're gonna do some Packer stuff. But it's funny to just like talk the way you need subtitles. I love that kind of stuff. I really do. I just wish a lot of the documents, social media would have been out when we played. Oh my, it would be some great stories. Some of them I'm glad there's not out though. And Tyler, you know all of those, so don't you say nothing.
Not a word. Not a word.
Thank you guys very much.
LeRoy, dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on. That was fascinating, insightful. Dude, I'm gonna get you some gear. Now, text me your address. We're sending you some Go Long gear.
So how do I subscribe to Go Long? Help me out with this. If I was a new guy just logging on and I'm on here, how do I keep it going?
No doubt, it's
about to start.
Yeah, golongtd.com. I feel like the least I can do is like hook you up for a little bit though, right? I mean, we'll make something happen.
If I can help you come on and get a huge platform, you're my brother.
Oh,
that's all I care about. That stuff work itself out.
Thanks so much, man. No, you've helped me so much.
As you know, we don't always agree.
I think it's fun to disagree. We have to.
I agree. I agree. I think it's healthy.
Yeah, we can't be kissing each other's asses and telling each other that we're, right on.
No,
So
man. If I'm wrong, we don't have to agree. I mean,
right.
it's all
That's
good.
why I love your show too with Sparky and Gary. Like it's
Yeah.
no holds
yeah.
bar. Like nobody's holding anything back. So that's how it
America
should be.
can learn.
Healthy debate.
Sparky
Yeah.
tries to hold him back, but he
He
does.
can't hold me back. He can't hold me back. That's why America can learn from our show. We got, 2 white guys, 2 black guys, and we love each other. If we don't have to agree. Who
Right.
cares?
Right, who
As long as
cares?
I agree with my wife, that's all I care about.
Speaking of, I should probably
Thank
put
you,
our
guys.
daughter down, right? It's about bedtime. So
Yeah.
thanks so much, everyone. That was awesome.
Thank you.
God, let's stay in touch. LeRoy, we'll be talking, man.
All right, take care, guys.
We'll go get you in the Hall of Fame, LeRoy.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Brandon. I appreciate it, buddy.